You guys know that my favorite window manager of all time is probably the Openbox window manager. I've made a lot of videos about Openbox. I've reviewed a lot of Openbox distros. I've made a lot of tutorials about how to set up a proper Openbox session on various distros. One thing that I've been getting requests about is reviewing Manjaro's Openbox edition. You guys know that I'm currently running Manjaro on my main production machine. I'm running the Manjaro i3 edition, although I don't use i3 on it. I use the Qtile tiling window manager and the Xmonad tiling window manager on this Manjaro installation. But you guys know I like Manjaro. You guys know I love Openbox. I should take a look at Manjaro Openbox. Okay, so the Manjaro Openbox edition. I actually did not know that Manjaro had an Openbox edition, at least when I first installed Manjaro on my main production machine about 6 months ago. All I knew about was their main flagship edition, which is the XFCE edition, and the KDE edition, which I ended up installing the KDE edition on my main production machine. I actually lived in KDE for about a month, even though that's really not my kind of desktop environment or window manager. But I digress. If you go to the manjaro.org webpage and you go to download, you have, of course, their current releases, and you see their main editions, which are the XFCE edition, the KDE edition, they have a GNOME edition, and then they have what is called the Manjaro Architect edition. It is a net install. It's a mini ISO, basically. But if you go to the download tab and go to community releases, you will see all kinds of community respins of Manjaro. Again, these are not necessarily official Manjaro releases, but these are community editions, and you see things like Awesome Window Manager, BSPWM, Budgie, Cinnamon, Deepin, i3, LXDE, Mate, and at the bottom of the list here, Openbox. This is Manjaro Openbox 17.1.9.2. I'm going to download the ISO. The ISO is 1.0 gigs in size, and I'm going to download that ISO, and I'm going to install this inside a virtual machine. Okay, so downloaded the ISO. Installing this today inside VirtualBox. So you have your boot menu here we have settings that we can change. Time zone, our key table, language is already set to English US. Keyboard layout was also US. Driver equals free. That's fine for the live session. I'm just going to go down here to boot Manjaro Openbox. Let's go ahead and boot directly into the live environment. And this may take a minute or two. Sometimes it takes a little while for the live environments to load. Because again, we haven't really installed anything yet. This is just booting directly off the ISO. If you were doing this on physical hardware, this would be the same as booting off the live USB stick. So we wait. I mentioned I've had a number of people ask me about Manjaro Openbox. I'm pretty sure that this is a rather new project. I know they've had Openbox editions in the past, but I guess it disappeared for a while, and just recently it started up again. So I'm actually pretty excited. Because honestly, I know there wasn't an Openbox edition 6 months ago when I installed the KDE edition, because if there was an Openbox edition and I knew about it, I would have installed it instead of the KDE edition, so I know 6 months ago there wasn't one. Alright, so this is the live environment. Select bars to launch. Running bars are checkmarked, so do we want to enable Openbox-bar? Sure, we probably need some kind of taskbar or something. This, I guess, is for Polybar. There's a program called Polybar. We check that. Click OK, and now we have the bar here at the top. Basically gives us some information, tells us what desktop we're on, gives us some other system information, clock, volume information, yada yada yada. But what I really want to do is I want to go ahead and install this. So if I click the Manjaro logo here, we do get some kind of menu here. It looks like this may be the Rofi command launcher. This is what that is keyed to. That's pretty cool. See if I can find an installer. See if I can right click on the desktop and get the Openbox menu to come up. I bet they have the installer somewhere in here. Yep, installation. Calamares installer. That's the one I want. I'm glad they made finding the installer pretty easy. So, anyway, the Calamares installer, very straightforward. Language has already been chosen for us, English US, that's correct. Time zone is correct. Central time zone in the US is correct for me. Keyboard layout's already English US, that's correct. I can type a little bit. Yep. Alright, partitioning. I can choose erase disk and let Manjaro have the entire 15 gig hard drive of this virtual machine that I created. I can also do manual partitioning if I want to manually partition. I'm just going to let Manjaro do its automatic partitioning. Alright, we need to create our username. I'm going to create the username DT. I'm going to create a very long and complicated password for the user DT. Alright, we need to create a password for the administrator account, the root account. Or actually, I could just use the same password for the administrator account. That way I don't have to remember two different passwords. DT's password and the super user password are the same. We also have the option of logging in automatically without asking for a password. I won't tick that on. I like being asked for a password to log in. Alright, we have a review screen here, our little summary. Location is correct, keyboard is correct, partition scheme looks good. It's creating an extended 4 file system. Alright, we're about to format the drive and write to the disk, so I'm going to click install now. And the installation begins. This portion of the install should take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to pause the video. I'll be back once the installation has completed. Alright, and the install has completed. That was very fast. Probably not even 5 minutes, that portion of the install. Super fast installation. Alright, for the Calamares installer, when it's finished, you need to go down here and click Restart Now. A lot of times this Restart Now is actually in the bottom left-hand corner, which I've always complained about because it's easy to miss. I like that in this particular instance of Calamares, it's right here in the center of the screen. That's a lot better. I still wish it was ticked on by default, but that's fine. At least you can see it now. So tick that on, click Done, and it will automatically reboot your machine to complete the installation. That's what I'm going to do right now. Alright, and I rebooted the machine. And there was a boot menu that came up, but if you didn't pick anything within just a few seconds, it just automatically takes you to the login manager, and it took us to a login manager very fast. Boot up time, extremely fast. Alright, let's give it my password and we'll log in. Alright, and this is Manjaro Openbox. Alright, select bars to launch. I wonder why they select bars to launch when there's only one option. If there's only one option, why not just go ahead and have it launch? It's strange to have this tool here, but you only have one option, which is polybar. Which polybar is okay. I don't mind polybar, but I'm assuming they're going to offer maybe more panels or maybe a dock at some point with that tool. I don't know. Anyway. The ISO again was 1 gig in size, right at a gig, so very minimal as far as the size of the image. I'm going to go through the right-click menu here. In Openbox, you have a right-click menu. Right-click on the desktop, pulls up your menu, and the first 5 things we have are links to important programs you would probably use on a very regular basis. The terminal. See what terminal we're using here. If we can figure it out. Let's see. This is Xterm Termite. Is it Termite? Yep, it looks like Termite. Yep. Okay. See if I can figure out how to close that. Alright. Our file manager here. Let's see what file manager they're using here in Manjaro Openbox. Looks like Thunar. Yep, Thunar 1.7.2. Thunar is the file manager in the XFCE desktop environment. So, very lightweight, very minimal file manager, but fully functional. Then we have a link to our web browser. Let's see what web browser they're using here. They're using Chromium. If we go to About Chromium, we'll get the version 66.0. Alright, we have a mail reader. Let's see what mail program they're using. Sylpheed 3.7.0. Okay, we have our text editor. Let's see what text editor we're using. They're using Sublime Text. That is interesting. It's more than just a text editor. Sublime is really an IDE, but that's cool. Sublime is a very, very nice text editor. Mainly geared toward programmers, developers. Alright, and then we get to the actual applications menu where all of our desktop applications should be, this menu should be populated with all our desktop applications. Under accessories, we have About XFCE. I guess there's some XFCE stuff installed on the system, so we have that particular program. We have Android File Transfer. I am not sure what Android File Transfer is. It says no MTP device found, so I guess I can't even open it right now. Anyway, we have our Archive Manager. See what Archive Manager they're using. Might be the GNOME Archive Manager, which is called File Roller. I'm not sure. Looking for some kind of indication of what this program is, but I'm getting nothing. If I go to About, yep, it's the Archive Manager for GNOME, which is called File Roller. The Archive Manager is for zip, unzip, tar files, tar, gz, xc, that sort of thing. Also under accessories, we have our bulk rename tool. We have the Catfish file search, which is the standard file search utility in XFCE. Compton is our compositor. If you see that there is some shadowing, some effects, some animations for the menus. Very slight, nothing too flashy, but that is the Compton compositor. Also under accessories, we have File Manager again, Thunar. We have Calculator, which is our calculator. It's a very nice calculator. Horrible name, though. Calculator 2.1.4. GTK-based scientific calculator. It's got a bunch of modes. Basic mode, scientific mode, of course. Paper mode, which I'm not sure exactly what that's about. The scientific mode's really nice, though. Also under accessories, we have the Gwake terminal, which is a drop-down terminal. If you hit the F12 key, it goes away. Hit F12 again, it pops back down. Really nice. The exit out of Gwake. Let's see, did I kill it? No, it's still there. I can still F12 and get it. Alright, under accessories, we also have Nitrogen. Nitrogen is the program we would use to set our wallpaper. Not exactly sure where the wallpapers are going to be. Probably user share backgrounds. But nothing is loading up. Oh well, I'll have to do some searching around to figure out where our wallpapers are, but you know me in these reviews, I'm eventually going to find where all the wallpapers are, and I'm going to play around with them a little bit. We have our terminal emulator, which of course is Termite again. Also under accessories, we have our USB image writer. See which image writing utility this is. It just says USB image writer. And we have US stick formatter. Alright, and that's for, of course, formatting a USB stick. Under development, we have Sublime. Under graphics, we really don't have anything under graphics. G-Color 2 and Image Viewer. Image Viewer, of course, is very basic image viewer. Let's see which program it actually is. If I can get any information about it. G-Pick View. It's a lightweight image viewer from the LXDE project. Okay. Well, also under applications, we have Multimedia. We have Audacious. Audacious is a lightweight, minimal audio player. Really nice program. Also under Multimedia, we have MPV for our media player. For our video player, for the most part. You can play audio in it as well, though. We have the Pulse Audio volume control. We also have some cute stuff here. The cute V4L2 test utility. Under network, we have the Avahi server. We have Chromium, again, of course, as our default web browser. The Sylpheed email client, again. We also have another web browser link. So we have Chromium and web browser, but I think both of them point to Chromium. Yeah, both of them would launch Chromium. Alright. Also under Network, we have ZenMap. Under Office, we don't have any Office programs installed. All we have is a PDF viewer, but we don't have LibreOffice. We don't have the entire LibreOffice suite, but you can install it. It's in the Arch repos, of course. We also don't have really lightweight Office alternatives like AbiWord or GNU-Lyric. So, Settings. Under Settings, we have Add Remove Software. So this is PAMAC. This is our GUI package manager here in Manjaro. A lot of Arch-based distros use PAMAC, but you can search by category, or you can type here in the search field for something you want to install. Say instead of Chromium, I wanted to install Firefox. I just search for Firefox. Here's Firefox. I tick that on. I go down here and click Apply. I click Commit, and Firefox would start installing. I'm not going to bother installing it, but that is how PAMAC works. Really simple to use. Also under Settings, we have AR&R. This is for managing your displays, your monitors. We have our Bluetooth manager. We have Customized Look and Feel, which is the LX Appearance program. It's part of the LXDE suite of programs, but this is where you would change your widget themes, your icon themes, etc. So let me open up the file manager, and I'll play around with some of the themes here. So this is called Breath Dark. If I wanted to, I could do the lighter one here, Breath, but it doesn't change this window automatically. Let me kill it and open it again. Okay. And I would probably rather go with a light theme if I was going to use a dark wallpaper. I like dark themes, but if you're going to use a dark theme, you want a light wallpaper. Anyway, I'm going to go back to the default one, though. I really like the default one. Yeah, that's really nice. The icon themes, we're using Vibrancy Light Aqua. But some of the other stuff we have more vibrancy colors, graphite, green, orange, pink. Actually, quite a bit of the vibrancy icon sets. The only other non-vibrancy icon sets we have are the hideous GNOME icons and the Adwaita icon set. Both of those are really, really horrible looking. So I'm going to stick with the default vibrancy icons. One thing we didn't change was the Openbox theme. The Openbox theme is the title bar and the frame around the window and our right-click menu. That is Openbox. So if I go to the Preferences menu and go to Openbox and go to, let's see, the OB Configuration Appearance Manager here, I can also change the Openbox theme. Let's see if this Breath theme has an Openbox theme. It doesn't. There's nothing called Breath in here. But I would really like some kind of dark, almost black Openbox theme to go with the GTK theme here. So let me look for a dark one here. Bamboo. Doesn't quite work. It's not quite the right colors. BB style. Not what I'm looking for. Carbon might work. That's a very dark black theme. Looks okay, but it's actually almost solid black. We want something slightly gray. That's interesting. I'm not sure I dig the green, though. You know what? We might just go back to the default one for now. The day theme. But eventually, I would want to try to find some kind of match for the GTK theme, the Openbox theme, and then an icon set that makes sense. And of course, a wallpaper to put it all together. So, alright, I'm going to go back to the right-click menu here. And also under Settings, let's see, where were we? Kickshaw. Let's see what Kickshaw is. Okay, this is our Openbox menu editor. So we have our right-click menu here in Openbox. This is how you would edit that. You can always manually edit that in a text editor. You would open up your, the rc.xml file or whatever. But, you know, for a lot of people, they want some easy GUI way to manage this menu. And this is how you would do it. So in the Openbox menu here, first thing is Terminal. See here? Terminal. If I wanted to, I could add something. I could go up here and add new item. What new item would I want to add? Say I installed Firefox. It's not installed, but I would go to Label Firefox. The command to execute Firefox is Firefox. And then I go to, where's the Save button? Save menu. Now, if I go to Openbox, where is Restart Openbox? Now, I should have Firefox somewhere in here. Did I not add it to the menu? I guess I did not. I didn't click Done. Okay. Now let me save it. Again, I need to restart Openbox or reconfigure Openbox. Yeah, and now I would have Firefox here. If it was installed, I click that, now Firefox launches. But again, I didn't bother installing Firefox, so what I need to do is just delete this. So highlight it, click the X here for remove, and it's gone. But now I need to save that again and reconfigure Openbox. Reconfigure, and the menu is back to the way it was by default. But that is Kickshaw. Alright, also under Applications, Settings, we have the Manjaro Settings Manager, our control panel here. We have settings for locale, language packages, kernel, user accounts, time and date, keyboard settings, hardware configuration. Right, and also under Settings we have our Network Manager, the Openbox Configuration Manager, which I already showed you to change Openbox themes, the Openbox key bindings. This changes your key bindings here in Openbox. You also have a list of the key bindings that are already set here in Conky. For example, let's see, the super key launches our launcher. That's not working. Yeah, there it goes. I just needed to click on the desktop. Super launches the Rofi launcher. That's pretty cool. Control space also launches the launcher. So that's very cool. We have super enter launches a terminal. Very cool. And so forth and so on. Super E launches our text editor, which is Sublime. Anyway, you guys can read this here in the Conky, or you can just open up OB key is the name of the key binding program, and just read through all the key bindings that have already been set. And you would want to edit these to your liking, to your particular use case. Also under Settings here we have Preferred Applications, we have Removable Drives and Media, Software Update. Software Update is the PAMAC updater. We saw the PAMAC GUI package manager earlier. It has a update utility too. It will go out and check for updates. So no need to install packages, remove packages in the terminal. No need to update your system in the terminal if you don't want to play around in the terminal. Now me, I like using the terminal. I never open up the GUI package managers, but I know some of you would rather do all of this in a graphical package manager, and that's fine. PAMAC is very nice. We have our Tint2 settings. Now Tint2 is a panel. Polybar is a panel here, but say I wanted to use Tint2 instead of Polybar. Apparently we have that option. Let's see, where can I find Tint2? Under System, Tint2, if I launch Tint2 here. Let's see, did that launch? I didn't see it launch. Let me open up a terminal. Let me make sure Tint2 is actually installed and functioning correctly. Okay, it did launch, but you know what? It may be behind this polybar. I may not be able to see it. Let me open up another terminal. Kill all. Polybar. Yep, and there is Tint2 behind it. That's what I thought. So, Tint2 is running. And I would probably rather use the Tint2 panel than Polybar, especially for something like Openbox. I like having a nice taskbar where when I minimize something, or, well, let me minimize it, you know, it goes to a bar up here. I like that. You know what, I'm not even going to play with the theme. I kind of like the default theme here, the Tint2 panel theme. Yeah, that's very, very nice. Going back through the menu system here, under System, we had Add Remove Software again. We have a lot of the same stuff we've seen. Gparted. Gparted is installed. That's a partition manager. Not something you normally play around with, but if you made a live USB stick of Manjaro Openbox Edition, it's good to have things like Gparted on the live USB in case you were using this as a system rescue USB stick. HTOP is our system monitor here. Let me open up HTOP. It didn't launch though. Let me just launch it from the terminal. Make sure it's installed. It is. Let's check system resource usage. Alright, it is barely using any CPU at all. I gave this machine 2 cores of my 6-core CPU. It is using less than 1%. Memory. I gave this machine 4 gigs of my RAM. It is only using 272 megs right now, and that's with HTOP running. It's with Conky running on the desktop. There's probably some background services running. Compton is running, our compositor. That is really, really good. Openbox is an extremely lightweight window manager. That is one of the advantages to running something like Openbox is you can run Openbox on ancient hardware. Alright, going back through the menu system here, we have our screenshot utility. We have an option of taking a screenshot immediately as soon as I click this, screenshot, or screenshot in 5 seconds, screenshot in 10 seconds, screenshot with selection. This is where you can specify exactly where you want the screenshot to take place, on which screen, or what window. Anyway, let me close that out. I guess it went ahead and took a screenshot when I clicked that. I actually wasn't trying to take a screenshot. We have our Places menu here. This launches our file manager, the Thunar file manager, at various locations within our directory structure. And then under Preferences, we have our Openbox preferences. We have Compton preferences for the compositing, Polybar, Conky, Tint2, our panel chooser, and wallpaper. Let's open the wallpaper again. This is nitrogen, but we still did not find any wallpapers here. Let me figure out where the wallpapers are located at. Anyway, I couldn't figure out if there were any wallpapers installed on here other than the default wallpaper. In a lot of distros, you can usually find a wallpaper pack installed at /user/share/backgrounds. That folder doesn't exist here on Manjaro Openbox, so there's probably no wallpaper pack of any kind that's already been installed. They probably just have this one wallpaper here, so this is probably our only option for a wallpaper. But it's a very nice default wallpaper, and I can't blame them too much for not installing a lot of extra wallpapers and stuff. The ISO again was only 1.0 gigs in size, so very minimal distro. Let's see what we missed here in the menu. I think we've gone over everything in the menu. We have the PAMAC, of course, PAC UI, some audio settings. That's pretty much it. Of course, we have our lock screen. Let me show you the lock screen. Type password to unlock. Hit enter. Alright, and then of course exit Openbox. Takes us back out to the login manager, the LightDM login manager. Alright, so what are my thoughts on Manjaro Openbox? This very brief install and overview of Manjaro Openbox. I like what I see. It's Manjaro. It's a very minimal install, very minimal ISO. Honestly, if this was around 6 months ago when I installed Manjaro's KDE edition, I definitely would have installed this rather than Manjaro's KDE edition. And to be honest, even though I installed Manjaro's i3 edition because it's very minimal, I wanted to install Qtile and Xmonad on something, and I went with the i3 edition, I might have installed Manjaro Openbox rather than the i3 edition. I don't know. I like both, though. I'm glad that they have these community editions. Again, they have some really nice community editions for Awesome Window Manager, BSPWM, Budgie, Deepin, Mate, LXDE, etc. So, all in all, I give Manjaro Openbox an A from what I've seen so far. I might actually install this on physical hardware some point down the road. You guys know, I'm a sucker for Openbox. Before I go, I want to do a special thanks to all my patrons, A.K. Ron, Mr. Neely Pops, John, Brian, Carl, Greg, Carlos, Rob, Matt, Darkwin, Mark, Christian, Jake, Benjamin, Steven, Marcus, Interceptor, Bob, Leor, Omar, and Silvio. You guys are awesome. You guys help make this show possible. Peace, guys.